Okay, so this chapter was a pleasant surprise, because we actually end the fight with Mikakua in this chapter, which really caught me off guard because I honestly thought that with Nozelle showing up at the end of the last chapter, we'd be extending this fight at least until chapter 304. But no, it's over, and it actually ended in a very satisfying way in my opinion. So jumping right into the chapter, it picks up with a flashback to right after Acier was cursed by Mikakua, and we actually spend most of the chapter going back and forth between the fight and flashbacks to parts of Nozelle's life. And during the first flashback, we find out that after Acier was cursed by Mikakua, she grew weaker and weaker by the day, and we end up finding out that she only was able to hold out for 1 year before passing away, and during that year, Nozelle apparently worked himself to the bone trying to find a way to save her. And of course, he couldn't tell anyone the truth about what happened because he was also cursed by Mikakua when Acier was, so if he had told anyone what happened, he'd die and the curse would move on to that person, which we already kinda knew, but we didn't know for sure he was also cursed. Which brings up the question that was debated for a while after Mikakua's curse was revealed as to whether or not Noelle was also under some kind of curse. Because we can assume Nozelle was hit with his curse when Mikakua used that cursed explosion spell on Acier, which if that's the case, since he was holding Noelle, you would think she was cursed too. And the big theory that most people had was that her lack of mana control was due to a curse, which personally I don't agree with. I think that was just a mental thing from all the years of abuse she had from her family. Because I mean, she was eventually able to overcome it, which, if it was a curse, I don't think she would have been able to without it being broken. And I also feel like Mikakua would have mentioned at some point, or anyone for that matter, if Noelle had a curse this whole time. I mean, there was a hint to her maybe being cursed back in chapter 220 I think, but that ended up being a red herring and it was actually Gordon and his family's connection to curses that was being hinted to. Which, by the way, speaking of Gordon, I wonder what his connection to everything's going to be now once him and the rest of the Black Bulls eventually show back up. Because the whole thing with him going to study curses and find a way to get rid of them, that was kind of his purpose in all of this. And now that Mikakua is gone and we can assume that the curse that she put on everyone else is going to disappear along with her, he kind of doesn't really have a purpose anymore at this point. Anyway, getting back to the chapter, we get to see Acier's final moments with Nozelle, basically telling him that she knows that he and all of her other children will grow to become stronger than she was, which, I mean, she was right about 2 of them at least. And then she finally passes away, and we get this small panel of Nozelle biting his lips so hard that he starts bleeding. And this panel reminded me of that scene during the Future Trunks special, when Trunks finds Gohan dead and he squeezes his fist so hard that he starts to bleed from it. And I've always kind of thought that that was a great way to show the mixture of anger and sadness in a character that they feel from losing a loved one, especially in manga when we obviously don't have sound. So a scene of a character screaming kind of loses its, impact. But when we actually get to see that scene of them basically just holding in that anger and then just biting their lips or holding their fists so hard that they start to bleed, really shows exactly what kind of emotions they're going through at that moment. Anyway, then we get over to her funeral and we get to see all of the Silva siblings as kids. And it's here where we get to see Nozelle begin to go down the path that led him to being the cold-hearted character he was prior to the fight with the elves. Him going down his path of pursuing strength alone so that he could protect his siblings. And really you can tell from these next 2 pages that it was mostly about wanting to be the one to avenge his mom. I mean, obviously he wanted to protect the others as well, especially Noelle, as we see not only in these flashbacks in this chapter, but as confirmed by Dorothy earlier on in the series. That's why he was so neglectful and harsh her entire life, because he wanted to protect her from all of this, from being a magic knight, from the fight with Mikakua, from any danger in the world. And I feel like it was not only because she's his baby sister, but because she also looks so much like Acier. And by protecting her, he's making up for not being able to save his mom. And dude, I understand completely where Nozelle's coming from, that drive to protect the people you care about and get revenge on someone who killed someone you love. That's all motivation I can get behind 100%. The problem is though, he tried to take on everything alone. Acier said that she believed all of her children would be stronger than her one day. He should have included all 3 of his siblings in this fight, and worked together to become strong enough to defeat Mikakua. Because at the end of the day, no matter how strong he got, he'd never be able to kill Mikakua by himself due to his own magical attribute being metal. Because he would need a spirit contract to obtain Saint Stage in order to kill her. So unless there's a metal spirit out there that we're not aware of, that wasn't happening. But the other 3, because their attributes were all water based, had at least some potential to form a contract with Udine at some point. So yeah, basically the lesson is that he shouldn't have tried to do this alone and should have brought everyone in from the start. I mean hell, looking at how strong Nozelle is right now, imagine how far she might have gotten if she didn't spend the first 15 years of her life struggling with her magic control due to the abuse that she got from her siblings. She could have been even more of a beast than she currently is. But luckily enough, he did finally learn that lesson, because in this chapter, even though he's using his full power to attack her, which by the way, we unfortunately don't end up seeing any brand new power up that he got from the 6 months of training. Apparently he just kind of got a little bit stronger, that's about it. We don't get to see no kind of transformation or any brand new spell. Just him being able to throw more attacks at once in this chapter. So that's a little disappointing, but who really cares at this point? Anyway, even though he's attacking her with all his strength, he knows that he can't kill Mikakua, but he can destroy her body and expose her heart, which he does, trusting Nozelle to go in for the final kill shot, which obviously she does. So now that she's dead officially, Acier's soul is free, and we get this moment of seeing Acier's spirit embracing our kids and telling them how proud she is of how strong they've become. But yeah, that's where the chapter ends. The only other thing really to mention is that as Mikakua is dying, she says that she really did take an interest in humans and their emotions, which is something we've definitely seen a lot through these past few chapters, because she was constantly mentioning how interesting she found the humans and their ability to struggle even in situations where they really had no hope. And I don't know, something honestly about this moment in her last moment, talking about how she kinda had an interest in humans and the way that Tabata portrayed it, it kinda makes me sad that she's dying. I mean, I don't think they should have let her live, but I don't know, I kind of feel bad for her a little bit, I guess. I really don't know. I really have mixed emotions about Mikakua dying the way she did. Not that I don't believe that she should have died by the hands of Acier's children, but I don't know, just the way Tabata had to throw in that last, like, inner monologue from her really does kind of make me sad that she actually is officially dead now. But all in all, this was an amazingly sad chapter, and I loved every second of it. The only thing I wish was a little different is that I kind of wish that all 4 Silva siblings had been part of the fight and had a part in taking down Mikakua. But Tabata made it pretty clear a long time ago that he really does not care about Nibra and Solid. Which, I mean, I can't blame him. I don't think anyone in the fandom can say that those two are their favorite characters. But anyway guys, let me know how you felt about this chapter in the comments down below. I'm probably going to go reread this fight like 10 more times, because so far, it is definitely my favorite fight of the entire arc. But that's it for the video. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.